This is a planner template that I created so that as I refresh my OneNote bullet journal each year, I don't have to go in and completely recreate the wheel. So, and I have since updated it for 2020. So the bullet journal template is divided into 8 sections. One day at a time is basically just kind of the overall bullet journal cover. All of my collections is a list of the various collections that, of things that I keep up with. The big picture is yearly items. By the moons is monthly items. Here and Now is weekly and kind of agenda type items. That's the planner piece. Then, of course, there's notes. Quick notes in my personal bullet journal, OneNote bullet journal, is where I have everything that I share to OneNote sent. So if I share something from Pinterest or an email or anything that I say send to OneNotes, it by default goes to quick notes, and then I can go in and modify that and move it wherever I feel that it needs to be put. And then I have a section that's just extras and templates. So if we take a look, all of the sections have a cover page, and on the cover page of each section is a table of contents of in most cases the pages in that section. In this case, one day at a time, because this is my kind of overall planner cover, so to speak, or index, so to speak, this actually has a table of contents of each of the sections, and these are hyperlinked. So if I click on one of these links, it will take me to that section in the notebook. Then the other page in One Day at a Time is my table of contents. And this is a table of contents of every single page in the entire bullet journal. So again, all of these are hyperlinked. If I click on any of these, it will take me directly to that page in the bullet journal. And then for sections where I have quite a number of pages, I've actually put collapsible lists. So if I double click on this little X just to the left of the page name where I see the X's, that will be expanded, and then again it will take me to all of these individual pages. So By the Moons, January 2020, if I click on this, it takes me to the notes page in that section. So this is one day at a time. The next section is all of my collections, and again, I have a cover page. It has a table of contents. Here, the table of contents is all of the individual pages in this section of the notebook. And for my own personal bullet journal, as I go in and I add pages, I just add to this table of contents to make sure that it stays up to date. And there are a couple of easy ways to do that. You can either go back to One Day at a Time, add to the table of contents here, and then just copy and paste back to this table of contents, or vice versa. So the pages within this, I have a page to keep up with passwords. There is a weekly meal plan, and of course, any of you who have used OneNote for digital planning, you know that you can always type on the pages, but in many cases, it's easier just to write in. So, you can go in and just use your pen and just write directly on that page. Then I have a page for weights and measures, which is just kind of a little bit of a fitness tracker. I have a page for gift ideas, and this is a spot where as I think of things that might be good gifts for people, I can jot those down so that, when I need to purchase a gift, I know what it is I want to get. I have a page to keep up with projects, primarily household type projects, but it could be used however. A page to track things that I'm grateful for throughout the year. Quotes that I think are worth remembering that I come across, and also a mood tracker that can be used to track your mood just by coloring in these little cells according to the chart that's over on the right. The next section is the big picture, and here we have the big picture cover page. This does have a table of contents, and like I mentioned, the big picture section is all of the yearly stuff. So within this, I have 2019 yearly calendar, 2020 yearly calendar, and 2021 yearly calendar. I also have a list of all of the 2020 US holidays. And then I have a page that has just fun holidays, and these are things that I sometimes like to celebrate with my kids, just that I think they would get a kick out of. Then the next section is by the moons, and like I indicated, this is monthly stuff. So it's not necessarily anything that I need to stay on top of week to week, but it is in some way pertinent to this particular month. So within this section, I have a main page for each month that has a monthly calendar. And then I have a blank notes page. There is a dot grid notes page. There is a page for tasks and for things that I know that I need to circle back to and follow up on. There is a habit tracker that can just be filled in each month. There is a fitness tracker and also a food journal. I like to at least try to keep up with what I'm putting in my body each day. I'm not always great about doing it, but that is what the food journal is for. And then you can see that right now the sections for each month are collapsed, but these all have the same pages, and so they can all just be expanded as you progress to each month. I usually keep everything collapsed except for the month that I'm currently in. And then all of these pages, again, you can navigate to any of these pages directly from the table of contents. So the next section that I have is here and now, and this is more of the planner piece of things. So this is my to-do lists, my meetings, all of that kind of stuff. And because this is kind of a longer table of contents, I do have this table of contents collapsed, just like it is on the main table of contents page. All you have to do to expand that is just double click on it, and it expands each of the individual weeks. And then the weeks are also collapsed. So within this section of the notebook, I have a calendar page for each month, and this is the calendar that you can actually write directly on. Let's go to view, make this just a little bit bigger so you can see that this is a calendar that you can write on and fill in with all of your items. The calendar pages also have table of contents. So the tables of contents on the calendar pages are all of the sections in the notes. So if I'm on this calendar and I want to go back and take a look at something in the by the moon section and the monthly section, I can just navigate directly back there. And that's really helpful if you like to view your notebook in more of a full screen mode, just to give you kind of more space to see what it is you're doing. These tables of contents are really helpful in that case. And then I also have a separate table of contents that goes directly to each week of the month of January. So in addition to this monthly calendar, I don't actually use daily tracking, although I do have a daily tracker as a template in here that could certainly be added. I don't use daily spreads, I only use weekly. And so within the weekly spreads, I have it set up in vertical layout with each of the weekdays, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then a separate column for the weekend. In the Today Is column, I tend to include things like what the weather is supposed to be like, if that's a holiday, if there's something special about that day. The Be There row is for timed meetings and appointments that I have to attend during that day. I have a row for priority to-do items, things that I know that I have to get done that day. I have a row for other to-do items. So, maybe I would like to get those things done, but if I don't, it's not the end of the world. And then I have a row for notes for that particular day. And then in addition to that, I have a weekly task list. So this is for items that don't necessarily need to be done on a particular day, but I know that I need to get these things done this week. And again, I have top priority, things that I really have to get done, and maybe a little bit lower priority items that I want to circle back to when I have the time to do that. Then the next section that I have is the notes section, and this is just numbered .grids pages. So you can always add pages to any section in a notebook. The pages that I included in my template are just blank .grid notes, note pages, so that I can go in and I can write on this. One really neat thing about OneNote, I don't have the neatest handwriting, so you can always write directly on the notes page and then convert handwriting to text. So, and let's see if I can. So, and sometimes it works better than other times, of course. So I'll just click on this little lasso and then circle that. And then I can just convert that handwriting into text, which makes it a little bit easier to search for things that I've taken notes about, which that's one thing that I like a lot about OneNote. And then again, I mentioned that my quick notes section, there's nothing here because I actually try to keep this section empty. It is when I have things that I send to my notebook from other applications, this is where they go, but then I move them usually pretty quickly. And then the last section that I have is extras and templates. So these are templates that you can make copies of and add anywhere that you need them in the notebook. So I have blank notes page, .grid notes page. This is just a different version of notes and different version of .grid notes. I did mention that I have a daily spread. So, occasionally I do try to get a little bit more organized and I try to track daily items. And so this is a template that I can use to do that. Here's the fitness template, my follow-up and tasks, 2 variations of food journals, the habit tracker, an additional task list, the weekly sheet if you needed this for any reason. This is just a different version of the weekly spread, weekly meal plan, slightly different version of the weekly meal plan, and weekly tasks and follow-up. So this is the template that I created. I actually used this to make my personal 2020 planner, which has a lot more information in it than what's in the template, but it's nice to be able to just copy and paste either whole sections or bits and pieces as I am moving from year to year, and it's a huge time saver for me.